Welcome to our channel, ladies and gentlemen. President William Ruto's tour to China is one that is being looked at with a lot of suspicion because there are very scanty details about that meeting, especially their meeting with the President of China, Xi Jinping. Statehouse is not doing us any favor because they are very economical with the information that is coming out from China. When William Ruto jetted out to China, even the West was looking at him with one eye open and another eye closed. In one of the international media, this is what they reported about William Ruto's tour, that a year after winning power on a promise to cool relations with China, William Ruto, the president of Kenya, has arrived in Beijing with a request for a new $1 billion loan to complete White Elephant projects that stalled when the earlier loans ran out. That was a kind of a mockery to William Ruto. And it seems that the West were very categorical because William Ruto must have promised them that he was going to work with the West and make sure that he snubs the East and give the East a wild bath. Now that he went back, because it was explained that he was seeking more loan to extend the SGR, I think from Naivasha to Kisumu all the way to Malaba, I think something of the kind. And people have been asking, did they really meet with Xi Jinping? And I have been checking Statehouse posts, I've been checking the official communication from Hussein Mohammed, who is the Statehouse spokesman. And this is the latest that we have, that during a state banquet hosted by President Xi Jinping for visiting head of states and governments in Beijing. This is the photo that we have, President Ruto there and the President of China with their spouses. And the reason why this is really eliciting a lot of suspicion is because earlier there was another video and photos of the President of Ethiopia meeting a delegation from China. And there was a delegation from Ethiopia meeting a delegation from China. In our case, the president did not travel alone. I understand that people like Madam Anne Waiguru were with him. And we have been waiting to see where there is the delegation of those two countries meeting on a bilateral relationship and bilateral trade talks, but nothing of the kind is coming out. And many experts have concluded that the Chinese government might have snubbed William Ruto. And I think the reason why Statehouse is releasing this photo is just to show you that at least they met. And I think, let's just have it that at least they met, even though there was no that serious meeting. And whenever there is lack of serious meeting, it goes without saying that there was nothing serious that was discussed. The other thing that we are looking at, Statehouse is also very scanty with the deal that was really agreed upon during this meeting. How much did they give Kenya? That is the kind of deal that we want to know. And that's why people treat it with suspicion. But then, why would China treat Ruto with a lot of contempt? Because surely they simply snubbed him. And I think there are three reasons why China does not see William Ruto as a serious man or as one person they can really work with very closely. From the post that I've given you, when the international media, that was a media from US, saying that William Ruto came to power on a promise that he was not going to work with the East. And when William Ruto went to China, he knows, the Chinese government knows very well that William Ruto has got some dalliance with America, so much that the way he performs his activities, it is very clear that he works with the USA. and he has really is the one who snapped the East. And so when he was going back for an extension of this loan, it was not going to be very easy with him. So they understand that he swore to work with the West. His predecessor was a bit balanced. Uhuru Kenyatta was working with both the West and the East, and of course Mwai Kibaki. But of course, if you ask many Kenyans, they will tell you that they have seen fruits in Kenya, because the biggest superhighway that we have, the thickest superhighway, was built by the Chinese government. For the first time, when Kenyans saw how the works were going on there, they witnessed the thicker superhighway. People got perplexed, because for the years that Moi was in power, Kenyans didn't know that we could have such kind of infrastructure in Kenya. The railway, the SGR, is also there. I know there are talks about corruption, but the truth is the Chinese government has really delivered compared to the US and the Britain and all the Western powers. So this makes their relationship to be lukewarm, and that's why it was given a lukewarm relationship. Number two, they have disagreed on Haiti. When the UN Security Council was voting to give William Ruto the green light to send 1,000 soldiers to Haiti for that peacekeeping, the Xi Jinping and the Chinese government did not vote. And this tells you that in a way they were telling William Ruto that we are not in support of this, because they feel that USA is interfering with the affairs of the Haitians. And this was a warning, because William Ruto knew very well that they are not reading from the same page. This must have also informed the kind of lukewarm reception in China. I also understand that the Russian President Putin was there, and you all know that the relationship between Ruto and China is not one that is cordial. You remember when Russia organized for the Russian African Summit, William Ruto snapped that meeting, neither did he send any representative. And when that meeting was going on, William Ruto sent kind of a warning that people really laughed at, and he warned Russia for entertaining the president that had organized for a successful coup, and he criticized it. And so their relationship with the Putin is not one that is cordial. That must have informed the way he was received, because Russia and China are working very closely, both politically and economically. And you know, Kenya is very strategic to all this international community. They've been trying to reach Kenya, but William Ruto has decided that he's working with the West. The other thing that they don't really read together about is the war that is going on between Israel and Palestine. Well, the USA that William Ruto supports has really unequivocally declared their support for Israel. China, Korea, Russia, and all those Eastern Bloc have disagreed with the Joe Biden. They feel that Israel is interfering with the freedom of the Palestinians. Of course, William Ruto also came out very clearly and declared that they are in support of Israel, and that they criticized the Hamas invasion of innocent Israelites. And this also makes him, you know, standing out as a man who is working with the West, as a man who is supporting Israel. Many people thought that he would remain neutral, but as always, he decided to show the world where his stand is. And I saw the South African President Ramaphosa saying that there should be an amicable solution, that they said that they are in support of the Palestine, and they were telling the world, the superpowers, to ensure that Palestine gets their freedom. So these are the things that make them, you know, become almost enemies, even if they want to do business. And I know businessmen don't look at their personal relationship. It is pure business. But it really informed the kind of lukewarm relationship that he received in China. And at least we have been given a picture, but we know that it was just they post there for some photos, but the cordial relationship and a serious bilateral talk did not really take place. That is my take.